Last week, the Electoral Commission organized elections for district chairpersons across the country, city mayors, and also in Kampala for Lord Mayor and their representatives to represent the people in Kampala. Tomorrow, again, the Electoral Commission is to organize elections for division mayors and chairpersons in municipalities and their representatives. Today, we're going to speak to Julius Mucunguzi, the spokesperson for Electoral Commission, to enlighten us about tomorrow's elections and how prepared they are to have the elections happen tomorrow. Mucunguzi, are you ready for tomorrow?
The Electoral Commission is very ready. The staff of the Commission across the 56 areas that have municipalities and city divisions are ready. The materials that are required at each of the polling stations in these areas have been delivered there at the district level, and they will be moving in the course of the night and in the course of the morning to make sure that by 7 a.m. all polling stations are ready, awaiting the arrival of voters to begin to cast their ballots.
It is one thing to do civic education, and it's another for people to understand. Do you believe that people have understood your message and they can be able to go out and vote for their candidates?
Staff of the Commission across the 146 districts and cities, across the entire country, have and will continue to communicate and tell the voters about the polling dates, polling procedures, and the importance of the vote. That continues. At least we believe that voters will know that there is an election of a category of leaders, and therefore the choice then of coming out to vote becomes a personal choice of the voter. We want to ask, why does a voter who knows that there is an election not go out to actually and vote? That one is a serious matter. It's a civic education matter. The responsibility for doing civic education is, as you know, in the Constitution, it is with the Uganda Human Rights Commission, but we also, accredit civil society organizations to undertake voter and civic education. We need certainly to do more, but most importantly, we need to ask the question that has data, that has evidence of why voters, even in the face of the information that they may have about the electoral process, about the dates, about the candidates, still do not turn up in numbers that we would want to see. On this occasion, I can tell you that the Commission moved across the country, speaking to all categories of people, engaged civil society groups, engaged youth groups, engaged students at universities, engaged women in markets and other communities, with the name of wanting to see that we improve the level of turnout. When the whole electoral process has ended, I believe that the Commission shall work together with stakeholders, sit and reflect on why the voter turnout does not become as we would want it to be.
Julius, let us speak about, in the previous elections that happened last week, there are some areas where there was a mix-up in the ballots, whereby ballots of a certain area were brought into another area. Like, for example, in Nakawa, ballots for Nakawa 1 were brought in Nakawa 2, and those of Nakawa 2 were brought in Nakawa 1. Should we expect that tomorrow such instances will be worked upon and we should not have any mix-up again?
So, where you find one or two aberrations or discrepancies, they cannot be by design. It can only be a matter of human error. But fortunately, we did not register many of those cases. Out of 45, out of 50,000 polling stations across the country, out of the over 50,000 polling stations across the country, it could have been maybe in 5 or less polling stations. And the good news too is that immediately that matter was noticed, it was addressed. But I want to say that in some cases where the issue was significant, like in Ibanda municipality, in Ibanda district, and in Chibanda North constituency, in Chiriandongo district, the Commission had to take a decision to cancel the elections in those places because there were significant errors on the ballot paper. And the Commission has mentioned, elections, fresh elections for directly elected member of parliament in Chibanda North constituency, in Chiriandongo district, and in Ibanda municipality in Ibanda district, and 18 polling stations in Ajuri County, in Leptong district, are also taking place tomorrow, the 27th of January 2026, because in those places there were issues on the materials, on the ballot papers for the two constituencies Chibanda North and Ibanda municipality, and for the 18 polling stations in Leptong, in Ajuri County in Leptong district, there were issues in 18 polling stations, and the commission took that decision. But the commitment of the decision commission is to always make sure that there is 100% accuracy.
You could say we moved halfway the elections in regards to your job.
Yes.
As Electoral Commission, and I believe you sit on the table of decision makers,
Yes.
How would you rate yourself as thus far we've come?
No, we can't begin to mark and rate ourselves when we still have very, very serious elections for local government elections pending, coming up in the coming days. So, but it will be really to the people of Uganda. One, have we been able to enable Ugandans to elect their leaders? If the answer is yes, then we will be able to take stock of the entire roadmap. Remember that when we're talking about assessing a general election, we're not just looking at the polling day, because this general election of 2025/2026 started when the commission released the roadmap to the 2025-2026 general election. That roadmap had many milestones. It had demarcation of electoral areas at local government level. It had recognition of polling stations. It had the update of the National Voters Register that had a very thorough process. It had a nomination process where we nominated 83,000 candidates contesting for 45,000 elective positions. It had a campaign period, and it had a polling period. All of these, polling, tallying, declaration of results, and that whole spectrum is part of what constitutes an electoral process. An election is not an event, and therefore when you are taking stock and evaluating what you've done or what you've not done or what you could have done better, you have to take a holistic view to be able that you are not addressing symptoms, but you are actually addressing the real issues.
That was Julius Mucunguzi, the spokesperson of the Electoral Commission, speaking to us how prepared they are for tomorrow's elections for municipalities and division chairpersons and their representatives to these councils. Raymond Tamale, NTV.